What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Fed Dead Redemption in our brand new time slot, our Sunday Night Heat time slot. Fed 3, ride again. We got a pay-per-view to review, a lot to get into. Joe Holbert, how you doing, man?
I'm terrific. I appreciate you asking me, even though you know the people know, because that's the kind of guy you are, Bob. The real
Yeah, this is a
host.
different show than the last one. It's a different
It is.
universe, you know?
It is, and there are going to be people that watch this that absolutely would not watch the other one, and vice versa. So it's worth asking. I appreciate. I'm doing well. How are you, Bobby?
I'm doing well. I'm having a good day. Enjoyed the pay-per-view. We'll get into that in a little bit. Oracle, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. Waking up a little bit, but it was it was an exciting evening, long evening last night for
Mm,
wrestling.
yeah.
Lots of
Indeed.
things
Hmm.
that happened, um, good and questionable. We'll get into that for all over wrestling. But overall, I did definitely enjoy the show.
Yeah. And, no, Joe, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Bob. I was just going to say that Oracle should be, he should keep in mind that his show didn't start 50 minutes later than intended. But go on, Bob. You're the host.
Um, yeah, just kind of before we get into Elimination Chamber specifically, it was just as far as February pay per views go, like they're kind of a mixed bag with WWE, but I think they did a really good job setting up. Pretty much every match set something up for WrestleMania last night, and we haven't always got that in the February pay per view. Sometimes No Way Out's kind of just a supplement for WrestleMania, so I think they did a really good job there. Oracle, you can kind of speak on that more from a historical standpoint, but it kind of feels like they really had a big one in terms of February pay per view.
Yeah, this was probably the biggest. I mean, this felt like one of the bigger February pay-per-views in a really long time, and I'm kind of running through all of them in my head a little bit. But I don't know. This felt kind of like a No Way Out '04,
Yeah.
when Eddie won the belt, or a one of those early No Way Out / Elimination Chamber shows
Mm-hmm.
that built up to Mania when it, when probably like I don't know, '08, '09, 10, 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, we can just kind of get right into it. This one, I don't know if we need to go match by match necessarily, but I think there are three matches. I think both chambers in the main event are worth kind of touching on at length. But I guess we can start with Lashley and Lesnar because it was kind of a strange 24 hours for those two. Bray Wyatt came out Friday night and said he wanted to face the winner. I was very concerned. And then they didn't have a clean finish on Saturday. So I'm not really sure what's changed, if anything, from Friday to Saturday. I don't know if they didn't tell Brock until Saturday and he said they're absolutely not doing that, or they just want to keep Lashley and Lesnar going. Kind of a weird match. I enjoyed it. I thought it was the best of their three matches, but ultimately kind of feels unnecessary if they're just going to do it again at Mania. Joe, I don't know where you're at on that.
It's a weird one, man. Like I have in some way enjoyed all three matches. Like not to like an extreme degree, but I've had fun with all three of them. I haven't, hated any of them. Whatever the best way to phrase it would be, but it isn't lost on me that at one point this was like a lead dream match for the industry for me.
Yeah.
And now they've wrestled three times, and all three of them in my mind, other than the finishes, merged together as one.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, you're the biggest Brock fan on the screen, but I think we all enjoy Brock the wrestler. I know Oracle's had his issues with his creative, and so have I through the years. But I will say, Brock plays a handful of hits very well.
Yeah.
However, when you pair him with two guys for his whole run, which this latest run has with Roman and Bobby,
Mm-hmm.
those hits don't quite resonate the same way with me personally. Now, to be fair, the live crowd was having a blast, but I don't know if the best way to maximize Brock at this point is having him wrestle the same guys as often as he has in this most recent run. I think it's been a real shame, and it's kind of been a waste in
Yeah.
that regard. I love Lashley. Everyone knows watching this knows that, but I was fine. I mean, the finish was really weak considering this was the trilogy match to me. But
Yeah.
I enjoyed the physicality of nothing else. That's where I'm at personally.
Yeah. Oracle, did you enjoy Lesnar and Lashley?
I thought it was the weakest part of the show in terms of like in terms of just of the five matches.
Yeah.
It was fine. I thought this would end in a schmoz. Even, my, like, of course, I thought that before the Bray Wyatt promo on SmackDown, and then I was kind of like, well,
Yeah.
I think it makes more sense because I was convinced earlier last week that they would have like a cell match or something, or like an ODQ match at Mania together.
Mhm.
I still kind of think that's the direction. I don't know, maybe not.
It just feels like you could have done that without doing this one, though.
Right, yeah, because it's the rubber match, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Where does Bray genuinely? Like, I know none of us really care. Like, where does Bray fit into this? Because they must have something in mind doing that segment, right? They have to.
That's the thing, because like I don't know, you're not just gonna make it a triple threat, but like
I thought of a hilarious scenario where I was legitimately thinking about it, and I thought, what if they did Bray and Uncle Howdy versus Brock and Brock and Bobby have to like coexist, which sounds awful, but
Yeah,
and then that causes like Brock just gets mad and F5s Bobby and like Bray pins Bobby.
Is there a chance they're doing Bray and Bobby and they did this finish because Bobby's going to lose that one, so they don't want him to lose 2 in a row?
You know what? That's very possible.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't really see the point of Bray and Bobby, though. Even like from a standpoint of like, I don't like Bray, obviously, but they don't really click together.
Well, how about this, Bob? Forget Bray and Bobby. Wyatt 6 versus Hurt Business. MVP and Alexa at ringside, Bob.
Yeah, maybe.
Energy drink sponsorship, Bob.
I
guess we can't rule it out.
He's got to do something at Mania, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
The Hurt Business feuding with the Wyatt 6, whatever the hell that
crazy. It's crazy, bro. Incredible.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just weird with Bray because they had Uncle Howdy attack him that one time and just kind of never went back to it. Now they're kind of working together again, and I don't know. They attacked Hit Row. Who cares? Like, I don't know. It's bad, but he wasn't on the pay-per-view, so we don't need to talk about Bray Wyatt tonight. Can move on to kind of the other match that I thought was pretty good. I think Beth and Edge, the Miz and Maurice match wasn't great. I think this one was a lot better, but I mean, they had a lot better people across from them. Big fan of Dominic just continuing to embrace that everyone hates him. I think that's really added a lot. Little confused as to why the team that Rhea's on lost, to be honest with you, going into Mania. I don't know that I would have done that, but the match itself was fine. Oracle, did you like this one?
I thought this match was awesome. Like Dominic, the heat he's getting is fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And the part where he kept interfering, and then he sprinted up back up to Gorilla, and then came back out and was like, and of course, Montreal, fuck you, Dominic. God, it was incredible. The heat for this was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I there was a part of me that thought that Rhea might actually get a bunch of cheers, and they might like ironically cheer or ironically boo Edge and Beth, but I was like, oh yeah, this isn't Toronto, this is Montreal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this was awesome, man. I thought they did, and I really liked the focus on Rhea and Beth.
Yeah.
When they first got in there and they did those clothesline spots, I thought, my God, this looks like it looked like an Ishii and like, spot with somebody from like 2014 or something, where they're over here just like killing each other with these lariats. Popped me huge. Beth was mistiming stuff a lot in the match.
Yeah.
Which was the weakest part, I think. Credit to her. She set up and got there perfectly for the Shatter Machine at the end, which popped me huge at the finish. What?
Yeah, it was a great finish.
Oh my God. As far as who won, I understand why. I feel like they probably just wanted to. I don't know. I feel like they wanted to end the feud now. Maybe the feud isn't over, but like I'm not a fan of your number one contender and Royal Rumble winner, even if they're protected technically, losing 6 weeks before they're supposed to be in a big title match. If I were them, I'd have Rhea beat Beth clean in like 2 weeks on Raw.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
I don't think that they will do that, but I would. But yeah, this match rule, Rhea was incredible in this. her bumping and she's really hitting her stride. Like we've talked about her constantly, but now that she's, you know, kind of back into the ring a little bit more consistently after her scary concussion last summer, her in-ring work is really starting to. I feel like it's getting even better. You know,
Yeah.
she had so much potential in NXT, and she was, you know, living up to that. But you know, her and Asuka didn't have great chemistry, and it was in the Thunderdome, and there was not a lot of. I don't know. She was in a character that she wasn't comfortable with, and all this other stuff. The Nikki Cross tag team, but man, like she's a star. And I remember, I think it was last Monday at Raw in Brooklyn. She was getting like, "We want mommy" chants.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, it's which is silly, but like, this storyline is just incredible, man. Like, I hope they do a segment on like St. Patrick's Day where like she and Dom are out partying or something, and there's
I'm
like
sure they
a,
will.
you know, brawl and a bar with Ray and Angie or something. But like, the yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say this because I know I'm kind of rambling. I'm like Sami Zayn in the presser last night. But my is that Dom gets his head shaved in a mask versus hair match at Mania, and Rhea wins the title, and then the next night on Raw, Rhea dumps Dom and becomes a babyface.
That could be awesome, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
I
like
think
a lot
she
of
would
fun.
get over huge in that Mania crowd. I think they would like. I think they would
Yeah.
like to pop for that.
Yeah, she'd be the face of the division, right? That'd be
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe, do you like the mixed tag?
I liked it a lot. Yeah, I was amazed by it. I mean, I thought it'd be fun. I really liked. It was a long time ago now, but I really liked the Edge and Ray tag from Clash last year.
Oh yeah.
Obviously Ray, but there is a simplicity to Edge in this setting that I think is very, very, very beneficial to all parties. That is absent from some of his more kind of expansive work. You know, like the structure of this, I think it was pretty clear that Edge had done a nice job with this in terms of the way this flowed. It's very hard to do that with this kind of matchup. Dom is unlike anything I've ever seen in every which way. He had like 3 spots in this match that he fucked up, and it didn't matter because he brought so much heat. I mean, the one spot where Beth was going up and he had to trip her.
Yeah.
And he went early, so Beth just had to ignore him, and then he went down and came back up and did it again. And it's like, look, man, it's a weird thing they've got with him, but undeniably he's adding to this act tremendously. Like he just is. And none of us have mentioned Finn's name, who's obviously always like so fucking smooth in there. He's so good. My guess on the finish, honestly, Oracle is kind of the opposite. Is like, I think they won here because Edge is probably going to put Finn over at Mania. Was my personal read on it.
Okay.
I could be completely wrong on that. I just don't know what else Edge is going to do if not Finn, you know. So, which I'm fine with. I mean, it's kind of weird because it's like the instinctual response to that result would be like, oh, Edge is, you know, putting a guy over on his way out of the business. It's like how old is Finn? Like 42. Like that's kind of where wrestling's at these days. But nonetheless, he's obviously the fresher guy, and I like this an awful lot, a lot more than I thought it would. And I thought it'd be fun, but I thought it was actually really good. So
yeah. Okay, move on to the women's chamber first. I think we all kind of predicted who was going to win. I think, you know, they made the right choice. They didn't swerve us just to do it. But, like, they made Asuka look really good. They made Liv look really good. It's kind of all I was looking for in this match, honestly. Like, you know, Liv doing the sunset flip from the top of the pod was incredible because that's not an easy spot to do. You know, kind of pushing the head through the chains was something we hadn't really seen in these sorts of matches. So, you know, whenever you can come up with a new spot in a match that's been going, you know, annually for 20 years, I think it's good. I think it was the best women's chamber match, to be honest with you. Joe, where were you on this one?
You know, kind of continuing that trend from the last match, way exceeded my expectations. I'm biased because the Alexa part of it was fucking incredible, but the first chamber will always be hard because I thought that was so well put together with Sasha and Bailey's deal in that. I thought it was masterful. But this was the best I've seen since then and was probably better than that if I watched them side by side. I thought the production on this in terms of Agent M was like incredible. And don't get me wrong, it's like it's overly sequenced at times and like too cute at times for my taste. But man, I thought they nailed it on that front. Like, there were some really nice little set pieces in here that protected some of the women who are not as naturally suited to this kind of match, I thought were really nicely assisted by the agenting. I did not think much of this lineup, to be transparent. I mean, I did a preview of Jay Show, and I thought this lineup looked really weak. I was not particularly enthralled by what they had on paper. And I thought they more than made the most. I thought they had a really strong match. Liv has become like a bit online at this point. You know, like there's like such firm stance on her. But I honestly think if you're being objective and watching what she does in there and ignoring her improvement, I think you're being like really unfair. Like I think it's pretty obvious that she's look, I'm not going to come out and say she's like one of the best workers in the world because she's not. But she's good, man. Like genuinely good, you know. And I think it's kind of
she's got that dog in her.
Yeah, sure, that works. You said it, not me. But yeah, no, she's really capable, and she has pretty good instincts, you know.
Yeah.
But the way she bumps for stuff and the way she feeds stuff, she gets it. She understands what she's doing. And again, I'm not saying that she's Asuka. She's very capable. She added a lot to this match. Asuka obviously is. Everyone knows what we think about her, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, and I think not having Liv in the final two when she wasn't going to win was a really good choice too.
I agree. Yeah,
you don't need to do that.
The one thing I'll say is before we throw out to Oracle is I don't know if they pick, not because Carmella's not good enough for it. I wish they'd have gone with someone who's slightly more believable for the final two.
Yeah.
Like even Raquel, I could have bought. In no way Carmella was wrestling Bianca at WrestleMania, but they've wrestled with each other 100 times. You know, that was the only thing I would say. They could have picked a better runner-up, I thought. But that's a very minor thing, you know?
Yeah. Oracle, did you like the Women's Chamber?
I did. I mostly agree that it was put together really well. I think the thing I appreciated the most was that they focused on using the structure. And look, we can have a whole conversation about the new chamber or whatever. I'm a fan. I'd much rather watch them fucking get their backs all fucked up on grates and shit. And like, sorry, I do. But like, I appreciated that they used the structure, and I think that was a smart way because not all these, not all of these ladies are quite as comfortable, I think, doing like standard wrestling sometimes. As far as Liv goes, I like Liv. I think her bumping and sort of getting into big spots is great. Her strikes are so bad.
Yeah.
But I'm weird when it comes to that. Like, because I mean, I'm a big Asuka fan. Her strikes don't look as good as they should either. Sometimes, like a lot of times.
Yeah.
But Asuka's also a 20-year veteran or whatever, and knows how to.
She's changed her style.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I'll be honest with you, I was like, man, I've not liked Liv like lately at all. And you know, she proved me wrong here. She was great. Her bumping especially was great. Of course, Asuka was awesome. I thought they did a good job of like with the big spots like the sunset flip that Bobby mentioned. And they timed that just about right because you could tell they're about to do something, and it was like right at the point right where they were kind of waiting too long to set it up, and then they hit it. You know, yeah, this was really good. The right winner. I liked they had Carmella as kind of like the like sort of Weasley heel. And again, I'm not so sure I would have had her there at the end either, but I think it was maybe a way to like have the fans be concerned that you know she was going to do it because I mean nobody was cheering for. I mean, Liv was the only other one that I think the fans. Well, I guess Natty because she's Canadian, but like there was a point where Montreal was getting a little bit irritated, but I don't think they were a fan of the Liv elimination. I actually liked it because they protected her.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was one of the better eliminations I've seen in a chamber match actually. But yeah, I mean Asuka won, the right person won. I think she and Bianca will have a hopefully have a good match at Mania.
They should.
For sure.
All right. Go to the men's chamber now. Actually, Joe, you want to go first on this one?
I'm easy. The one thing I was going to say was we're going to do the WrestleMania kind of card prediction after, right?
Yeah.
We'll talk about more then. Go ahead, Bob. It's fine, mate.
Yeah. Well, so I thought this was very good. Theory winning is kind of whatever. I don't know if they're doing Theory and Cena. I don't know that you need the U.S. title there, but I know Edge is wrestling for it tomorrow. I don't know that he's going to win, but they seem to be doing an open challenge thing with Theory for the next couple weeks. I think the big thing with this match is how many people are coming out of it better than they went in. Like, Bronson Reed looks like a bigger threat than he did 24 hours ago. I think even Gargano, Montez, obviously, there was a point where I thought they should have just had him win last night. Just really well put together. Some spots that I would maybe not try again, like the one where Bronson Reed almost broke Johnny's neck by landing on him. But other than that, really good. Third best Elimination Chamber match on Cage Match as of right now. So, yeah, this worked for me. Joe, were you into this one?
Look, crowd loved it. They worked hard. They kicked the shit out of each other. They left it legitimately in a lot of pain, I'd imagine. So I respect it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Me personally, the best way to explain this would be this was an NXT TakeOver Elimination Chamber match.
It was. That's fair.
And that means it was a hoot for the live crowd, and most people really enjoyed it. It was not necessarily my thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess, knowing the Oracle of Wrestling the way I do, that he's going to be in a similar position on this.
Yeah.
It was just a lot for me. And I don't even mean that as like a big criticism, because they, God, man, they worked incredibly hard and did some crazy shit. It just wasn't my thing. That's the best way I can explain it. And there's nothing wrong with that. It is what it is, right? Part of it also was they didn't have a great deal of investment, and that's, part of wrestling. So that's where I'm at. Oracle, I get the sense you're going to be in a similar boat overall.
Yeah. So let's talk. Okay. Let's name the 6 guys in the match and think about whether or not I was terribly intrigued here.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins.
Well,
Johnny Gargano. Bronson Reed. Damian Priest. Oh God, who's the 5th guy? Because I do like Montez Ford. Who's the other guy?
Theory.
Who?
Theory.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
won.
him. Oh yeah, him. I don't even watch the stuff. See, it's like
You
See, look, I will safely call the match good because the crowd was hot for it. A lot of people liked it. In our circles. Not for me. Some of the spots that they set up were good. I appreciated that they worked it differently in a way. Where they did the big spots, because this was a lot more like, let's do jumping, leaping spots, which they can do a little bit easier. The Montez Ford's spider walk was nuts. That was my favorite big spot of the whole match. Also his flying topic on helos into the cage were nuts too.
He's a star.
Oh yeah. I'm not so sure about him being cute doing rock spots was
after doing 6 circuit spots.
That was a little annoying, but some of those, the Gargano, both the Gargano Rana and both Ranas from Gargano were nuts and almost went badly, both of them.
The Bronson Reed one was terrifying, man.
Oh yeah. I thought Theory was going to win the whole time. I never thought they were going to take the belt off of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I should call it a good match. You know what I mean? Because it did what it needed to do, but just not my thing. I thought they did one thing I did appreciate, and I think Joe calling it NXT Takeover Chamber is a perfect explanation for it. I did like the spot, even though it was kind of hammy, as a way to get Logan Paul into the ring to cost Seth. But where they put Montez over by having him doing the concussion selling or whatever. Corey Graves was way too over the top on commentary, and totally gave it. I mean, it made, because I was like, "Oh, this is an angle." At first, I was kind of like, because when you're a fan, you're always a little bit like the first, and then it's like, after 5 seconds, I was like, "Nah, they're doing something here." And then, Logan Paul comes in and does the. By the way, him doing Him doing the buckshot lariat is hilarious.
Incredible bit in so many ways.
But he does a good one. I'll give him credit.
Yeah.
And of course, now that I brought it up, I'll just go ahead and I'll steal Bobby's hosting just real briefly, and throw it to him. Bobby, what do you think about Logan Paul, Seth Rollins setup here?
I think it was a good way to set it up. I think the match is going to be good. I just don't know how much I'm going to care about it. You know, it kind of is what it is. Like the Logan Paul and Roman was obviously very good, and his other matches he's had have been good. I don't know, man. I don't want to see Seth Rollins beat him, but I also don't want to see Logan Paul win. So
incredible place to be.
Yeah.
Wait, you don't want to see Seth? You don't want Seth Rollins to win this match?
I guess I don't really care. Like,
bro, I'll be real. I'm not like a big Seth Rollins fan, but publicly saying you don't want to beat Logan Paul is crazy. That's one of the nastiest things you've ever said on one of these shows.
Probably gonna beat him, you know. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's fine, right? It's you need Seth's obviously one of the top guys and needs to be in a big spot, and regardless of the many different factors surrounding Logan Paul, he's a big name and it's a big spot. I mean, that's ultimately it. And I have no doubt they will have a good match in the sort of modern mold of what you expect them to do, where there'll be a lot of set pieces and cool sequences and high spots, and that's fine. And again, like I want to stress, Oracle and I are very much in the minority when it comes to this chamber match, right? Like, what did you say, Bob? This is the third highest chamber match ever on Cage Match?
Yeah, behind 2005 and 2002.
Yeah. I think there's a very good chance that Logan and Seth have a match that I roll my eye a time or two. Oracle gets aggressively mad at a time or two. And then we come on here and Bob says he's got an 8.5 on Cage Match because that's the way cookie crumbles sometimes. But I think it's a fine spot for all involved and whatever. It's fine with me.
Okay, so on to the main event. Oracle, do you want to start off with this one?
Real quick, am I back yet? Because I went out for a minute there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Yeah. I can start out on it. All-time great crowd. The match was excellent. Definitely in the vein of like, I mean, you're just gonna get it with the Roman Reigns stuff, like the the monologuing and dialoguing and stuff like that. But I thought they did it really well here, especially with involving Sammy's wife and family and getting like actual heat and like or at least as close as you can get to actual heat nowadays. When they set up and did the kind of big near falls and stuff, and the way that they kind of set those up were excellent, and the near falls were incredible. Some of them were just amazing. Roman had one of the better, and like they do it every month at a pay-per-view. It seems like in a lot of ways, but Roman, I mean, first of all, the spot always pops me, but that spear through the barricade looked especially insane.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the setting and the match or whatever, but again, just some amazing near falls. Sammy kicking out of the spear was incredible. Roman times his near falls better just about anybody. I mean, like, I was watching with one of my brothers last night, and he was just like, "Man, Roman's near falls are timed." I was like, "Yeah, he's like one of the All Japan guys, or I'll even give Kurt Angle a shout out. Kurt Angle had that timed perfectly. Roman has like, I mean, he might be the best ever at it.
He's really good.
He's great. Timing his kick out right before the 3. Just amazing drama all the way through. Ref bumps galore and stuff, and I think we need to kind of break down the conversation because the finish.
I agree.
Yeah.
Maybe we do
the finish. The finish was cowardly. Would be the way that I would describe it. Not even bad, but there are reasons why they did the finish that I understand, but I don't necessarily agree with. I don't know. There's a lot to unpack here, but the match itself was amazing. Roman winning was the right call. That I will defend. I saw what somebody posted was Dave and Brian were on their show today, and Dave was like, Sammy's actually a bigger draw than Roman. Is that true? Is that true?
No.
That seems look, I know, like, I trust Dave a lot with, and I don't want to make this about that, you know what I mean? But like I trust Dave a lot with like business and financials. I do. But that seems, maybe Sammy's segments are drawing really well, but
Seems a little bit
I
unfair to
find
do
that
that.
to be. Am
I
I
get
the
you.
only one here that finds that
No,
to
I
be
agree.
somewhat far-fetched?
I think it's a little bit unfair. Even if it's true, I think it's a little bit unfair to like divorce it from Roman too. I think it's a little ridiculous. But whatever.
Yes. That's kind of what he was doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and even if Sammy wins, are the ratings going to stay up because he won? After, you know, I don't know about all that. Like, it's, I mean, they probably would for Mania season, but afterwards, if he were still the champion, I'd venture to say absolutely not. But, you know, Roman should have won. That was the right call. I've seen people. I mean, I even had my brother say that they shouldn't have even done Roman and Sami in a singles match till after Mania when the title wasn't involved.
Yeah.
That's
which
fair.
I think was an interesting argument.
This is the actual debate because they can't. There was no real way to do the title change last night and end up where you want to be at Mania, because you'd end up either with a triple threat where Sami doesn't win anyway, or it just didn't work. Sami and Cody was like, that can't be the match. It just doesn't make any sense. It just fucks Cody up. So then the debate becomes, should they have done the angle here and Sami won the belt at WrestleMania? That's what I think the debate is to me. And then you go back to the Sami Cody thing, which I'll be real, I have no interest in relitigating here because everyone give their take on it. That's fine. But that to me was the question. I never, and let me be clear, folks, I don't watch WWE, so I could be way off of this. But I never understood the expectation that Sami was going to win this match. I just didn't understand it. Now, I'll get into the finish too, and again, we'll kind of have that as a separate conversation, right? The way they did it, because I think that was a problem. I didn't think they did a good job of the finish, which is a shame.
It was a problem.
Yeah,
it was
and
an issue.
We'll dig into that. But I think the real debate to me was always who gets the win at Mania, not should Sami win 5 weeks before WrestleMania, and then what? You know, to me, they'd already made their choice by this point, so it was not a surprise. Bob, I guess we'll go back to the match itself. Bob, you go on that, and then I'll go.
Yeah, I thought it was excellent. I mean, I like those, long Roman main events. Sometimes they drag a little bit. It was a little strange when the bell rang, and then they just kind of stood there for a few minutes, and the crowd didn't really know what to do. But then they got them back, got them chanting and stuff. And a couple of the ref bumps, lasted a little too long, but I get what they were doing. So yeah, no real complaints about the match itself. I think they really did very well. I think they threw everything they had at each other. And yeah, I mean, when Sami did kick out of the spear, it was like, okay, maybe he's going to win because that's the only thing he hadn't been hit with yet at that point. But I still kind of never thought he would. And I guess after the way SmackDown ended, people thought he would, or they, wanted him to try to will it into existence. But like, it's very clear that they're going with Cody.
I love the match. It's very clear that, Roman's style is what it is at this point. He's very comfortable with his formula as a main event wrestler, as most main event wrestlers are, to be clear. He's very comfortable with his formula. And his formula is not going to be for everyone, especially in 2023 when there's, it's kind of an increasing outlier. It very much is something that I appreciate. I like the way that he paces his matches for the most part. I like the amount of drama that he kind of prioritizes in his matches. I like his overall approach to the big match. I understand the argument it's reliant on a hot crowd. To me, that's kind of what pro wrestling is. Like you're not. The crowd are part. They're part of that experience. Like it's not a case of he's wrestling his laurels because he's letting the crowd do the work. So that's kind of the idea. He's letting that emotion and that drama take center stage, and he's filling in the gaps along the way. His intention was not to get them jumping up and down at spots. It was like, let's let this take them on this ride and absolutely squeeze every bit of emotional investment out of this, which I thought they did. Sami was great, obviously. He's one of the great baby faces in ring in recent memory. So I have zero issue with the first, I guess we'd say 80% of the match. But then you get into the finish, and I just thought they made this. I just didn't think they got this right. Again, not from a result point of view. The way they did the finish was the problem, you know?
Bobby, do you want to run this sucker down?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Jimmy Uso comes out, and Jimmy, of course, is on Roman's side, at the moment, and helps. And we get some big near falls again down the stretch. We get a second ref bump. Jey Uso comes out. Okay, now here's the thing. Okay, Jey comes down, and they do this sort of mirroring thing from the Rumble.
Yeah.
Where Sammy's down, Roman's got control. Jey comes out and stands in front of Sami to help, protect Sami from Roman with a chair. Big crowd response for this. Great crowd response for this. Roman ends up giving Jey the chair and tells him to beat Sami with it, to prove his loyalty. And Jey hesitates, which is fine. And they have this great moment where Roman's got his back turned, and there's like that big buzz in the crowd where you think, oh man, he's going to do it. And then he doesn't, and it's still okay. It's okay. And then Sami gets back up and recuperates. And I will give somebody credit here, even though I don't think it was I don't think it's a good callback, but it was a callback from Survivor Series, where someone moved out of the way of the super kick and Jey super kicked Sami.
Okay.
That was a callback. It's not a good callback, but it was a callback.
I got you, yeah.
Sami goes for the spear. Roman moves. He spears Jey. Roman hits a spear on Sami or Superman punch or something, and then destroys Sami with a chair and pins him. We get the post-match. Jey kind of just disappears out of the picture. Jimmy's back up again. They're beating down on Sami, about to. They only give this maybe because, they first of all, they pan to the crowd and you could hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
People just people didn't expect it to be such a flat ending, such a sort of ending with no answers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's the last big stop to the to Mania, and there's no answers. And I think because of this, I think they were probably going to want to get. I feel like they wanted to extend the beatdown a little bit, but I think it was more like, all right, Kevin, get out there now.
Yeah,
we want to get the pop back.
Yeah.
So they throw KO out there. Good pop, great pop even. He beats the shit out of Roman and Jimmy. Jimmy gets put through a table. Kevin Owens stands between Roman and Zayn in a kind of a cool moment and moves out of the way, lets Sami hit one more haluva kick. Roman kind of rolls out of the ring. I wish the cameras didn't pan to Roman walking up like he hadn't really been that hurt.
Yeah, that was a strange choice because it also
that was bad production work.
It called Kevin.
I don't even blame Roman.
Yeah.
I don't even get on Roman for that because in his mind he was like, all right, I'm going to get out, let them have their sort of moment there.
Yeah.
Of course, Heyman takes his stunner. His way he sells the stunner is fucking hilarious.
He's incredible, bro. I'm sorry.
He's
so ridiculous, and I love every minute of it. I'm sorry.
And then we have this sort of weird Sami KO approval nod, you got me after the match at Rumble. I got you after this match. They don't reconcile. They don't hug. They don't raise each other's hands. Kevin just sort of leaves and looks back at Sami longingly. And we fade to black and get ready for the presser. And that's me kind of doing a breakdown of it. And sorry, I'm being long-winded here.
No,
but
you're good.
There were a lot of, I don't know. I think a more interesting. Okay, first of all, let me say what I think they did here. Okay. I think they got caught up. We have 6 weeks of TV.
Yeah, I agree.
And freaked out about that. Who cares? Doesn't matter. But I think they got worried about that and thought, we can't just have Jey turn back to Roman already. We need to build to that and have a moment on. We need to have that at a moment. 3 weeks before Mania or whatever, and then we can really we need to have more of these dramatic segments to really to really ride the wave, which I get it to a degree, but it's not the right choice here. It's Elimination Chamber. It's Montreal. You got to make a choice now. You got to hit that big go button now, and then figure out what you're going to do in 6 weeks. Okay. Because now I think we're going to end up seeing a bunch of can Jimmy and Jay coexist? Is Jay part of the bloodline?
Kevin and Sami.
And Sami, and then Jay's going to be we're going to have this whole thing where Jay's going to be mad that Sami speared him and all this shit. And like Jay's going to be all mad that Sami speared him, and Roman's going to point that out, and it's going to be a whole thing. And then KO and Sami aren't going to be friends right away, and they're going to have to sort it all out. It's going to be a whole can they coexist thing for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And to me, that's not the play. About how much time I had left on the Mania and done. Am I here,
folks? I think Oracle just returned. Go ahead, Oracle.
There we go.
You back? Okay. Good.
Yeah.
They're worried about doing this coexist thing for 6 weeks. They're worried about the 6 weeks of television and not worried about what they should do now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would agree.
You could have done it in different ways. You could have done it where simply Jay just reluctantly super kicks him. Still was reluctant because I still think. Am I gone again or am I back?
You're good now.
You're now back. Yeah, you're always back once you ask, but before that, you're gone.
Okay, sorry, folks.
You're good.
I probably should I think my computer needs updates too. Am I here still?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
You're back.
But they could have done Jay just. Am I still here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They could have done Jay beating up Sami reluctantly, or they could have done like a SummerSlam '97 deal, which my brother brought up, where Jay swings a chair but Roman moves and he decks Sami, and Sami's mad that Jay cost him the match.
That would have been better, much better.
And then you could go that route and still fill up that 6 weeks of TV with some drama. What they did here, they didn't give us an answer.
That's much better, actually. Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw to one of y'all, but that's kind of where I wanted in my point, but because I'm kind of going out a little bit, but Joe, Bobby.
Yeah, I didn't really mind Sami and Kevin not kind of re-embracing right away, but when you lay it out like that, you make a good point. I think that is something that they'll resolve in the next couple weeks, but you could have just done it for the crowd there. And I think by the end they kind of had the crowd back. They were cheering for Kevin and Sami, but they could have done a little bit more there.
I think it's one of those cases of wanting to have your cake and eat it too, right? Yeah. I think they wanted to. They needed a way out of the finish with a swerve, but they didn't want to do the swerve here, so you ended up stuck. Mm-hmm. I think some of the execution parts on the finish also are worth noting in terms of you mentioned Oracle the Jimmy Uso deal, right? When he run wild on Sami, the timing on that referee run in was brutal, man.
Yeah.
The referee got in the ring and Jimmy was basically still in there, and it's to me it took the edge off it completely because I'm not looking for great detail and logic at this point. It's wrestling, right?
Right.
But good Lord, man, a referee sprinting to the ring and seeing the cheating in the act when he's on his way down is crazy. That should have, and that isn't on the referee or Jimmy, to be clear. That's on whoever's at Gorilla being wait a second, let this thing breathe.
Yeah.
That was one. I think they should have actually had. This is where I think they kind of got the wrong way around. I think that would have made more sense to do the deal where the heel picks the referee up and throws him back in because he wouldn't have seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Then you do the run in later. Would have been the way I did it. Well, I would have preferred it. Speaking of such, the second referee bump. I don't know if you guys remember, they got a little stuck there in in that last act, when they were trying to get to that ref bump, they got a little stuck. They had a really
Yeah, it looks
awkward
like
kind of sequence.
they were going to do one, and then the ref kind of moved, and then they had to kind of figure out another one to do.
I don't know if that was by design or what, but it was a weird. They had a couple minutes there when I thought it kind of took the heat away.
Mm.
Even still, the Jey Uso stuff was remarkably effective in terms of the crowd's response to it, and I think there's a good idea in there. I like the idea of Jey kind of. I'll be honest, you guys. I do like the fact that Jey didn't just turn and be like, "It was your plan all along, bro."
Mhm.
You know, like I like that.
Right.
I just think they could have made a choice more interesting than the one they did.
The SummerSlam '97 one, though, my brother, I don't really like that one
Because
because he
Jimmy's
cost
face
Sammy the
told
match.
Mhm.
You can still say that, and Sammy could be. But now they're going to do this thing where Sammy speared him, and Jay's going to be mad at him for that.
Yeah, I
Who cares? Like,
I agree, and I also think
like, I don't know.
the finish itself, it is worth noting. I don't think that was the reaction they had in mind for that finish. I don't know what you guys think, but I think they wanted like heat on the finish. They got
Silence.
There's something to be said for silencing a hot crowd, but that I don't think that was what they were looking for. Was my personal reason.
That's why I think the beatdown was supposed to be longer, but Triple H saw that.
I agree.
And was like, oh shit, we pissed them off.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of just died,
not even pissed them off. We made them like not care. Get Kevin Owens out there.
Mm-hmm. It's a weird finish though, because you described it earlier, Oracle, was flat, and I would agree with that. I'd co-sign that description, but it's like it's weird to describe a finish like that as flat when there's that many shenanigans and run-ins. But it did. It felt flat. It felt like it was anticlimactic, which is, I think, a result of all the shit they packed in at the end. I mean, it was just, I don't know. I don't think they got the finish right. And in fairness, these are really hard finishes to nail.
It's hard. Yeah.
It's difficult.
It's absolutely true. Booking this shit with this kind of storyline is extremely hard.
It is hard. And they've nailed a lot of these. I don't think they got this one right in terms of the way they did it. Again, I don't think any of us thought Sami was winning and are fine with the result. But the execution I thought was a miss. Again, like the match, it's not on the guys involved. It's just I also thought the post-match felt like, while there was that, I like the visual you pointed out, Oracle, of Kevin in center ring, kind of in between them. It had a distinct, to use your word earlier, Oracle, it felt cowardly. You know, the post-match had a distinctly coward scent in the way they like, let's send them home happy. It's like, well,
yeah.
You know, if you're gonna do it, let's really go for it. It felt kind of like a cop out to me in some way. And again, I say this to someone who loved the match, so it's whatever to me. But I don't think they nailed it, unfortunately, which is a shame because it would be nice if they did. You know, it was a big show. And look, one thing I did want to ask you guys are much more well versed on WWE history. What was the last WWE title match that was actually as big as this in terms of actual crowd interest, like audience interest? It's been a while, right?
Yeah,
Is it when Kofi challenged?
Kofi and Bryan's up there.
Yeah, probably Kofi and Bryan. Yeah,
it's wild, man. And like, so I say that to say, lots of positives here. This is certainly not me being like, oh, they called off the territory, they killed the town, because it's not the case. The promotion's hot. I just think there's a couple of things they could have changed here to make it a little better, but that's just me personally.
Yeah, that's fair. Overall, did you enjoy the show though?
Very much so. Yeah, I thought it was a really good show. I obviously folks will know I was watching the New Japan show on the air, so I did have the benefit of skipping through those 15-minute blocks they put in between matches, which I think is insane. But you know, like I think the pacing in ring on these shows has become a real strength. That's only useful though if you don't have to sit through the ads that come between those matches, which is unfortunate. But as the way I watched it, I had a really good time. There was nothing on the show I disliked. There was a few things on the show I really loved. So I thought it was a really good show, actually.
Yeah. Oracle, did you like the show overall?
I did. You know, even with the frustrating execution and questionable booking at the end, I thought it was a great show. Yeah, I really did think it was a great show. I think they're still in a good position.
I agree. Yeah.
Just you know, I don't think they're in a great position anymore in terms of the main event scene. Personally, I know that maybe that's an extreme thing to say. I don't think anybody's like heat's been killed or anything, but I don't think they're in a great position anymore. But I do think they're in a good position still.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, you know, this was a great show. I enjoyed the mixed tag-a-thon women's chamber, a
Mm-hmm.
good bit, and of course the main event was outstanding. So yeah, absolutely a thumbs up.
We do have to touch on this real quick because I didn't
Oh
think there
my
was any
God.
chance they'd do these again for WrestleMania, and this one was entertaining. I think they have some better ones coming, but like I'm just glad that they're doing them again because I really liked the WrestleMania 21 ones. And it's kind of a perfect fit for Seth, and I think Becky did a good job as Batman as well. But yeah, apparently they have they're do the Bloodline, do Goodfellas, and they got a couple other ones coming. So
Hold up.
yeah,
They did what? The Bloodline doing Goodfellas?
yeah, that one's coming.
Well, I'm going to need some people to send that to me as soon as possible. And that thing is, there's a lot of opportunities there, especially if Paulie Dangerously is being.
Oh my
cast in
God!
that
Imagine the
situation.
late night grin crew doing Goodfellas.
Oh, I imagine it every time. Every time I have some downtime, Oracle, you know.
Who's-
Bobby as Pesci. Funny how, Bob.
Speaking of WrestleMania, we kind of know a good portion of the card right now, just kind of putting things together. So we can do that right now. We're going to do this every week leading up to WrestleMania, kind of see what the
We
cards
are.
look like. And we had 16 matches last year, 16 between the two nights. I think that's kind of what we're going to be looking at this year as well. So far, you got Roman and Cody, that's locked in, obviously, and then the two women's matches. But from there, we can kind of play around with it a little bit. Like I said, you can kind of tell, but we can kind of go down the card a little bit more and see. So Roman and Cody's going to main event night 2. Are we confident with Sami and KO against the Usos main eventing night 1? That seems to have picked up some steam lately.
I am personally, yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Oracle?
I think so. I
And-
think so. I think so.
I think there's a very good chance, that for right or wrong, better or worse, Jay is involved in the finish of night 2 as well. I think that's very possible. I think that might be where he actually pulls the trigger.
That's fair.
Because I don't know if Cody's going to just beat Roman with his finish. I think there's going to be a shenanigan or two along the way, a banana peel. I think there's a very good chance that night 1 ends with perhaps Jay sharing a moment of some kind with Sami after dropping the tag titles. Night 2, I have no doubt they're going to do a ref bump in that Cody match. Cody has got no restraint, and he's wrestling a guy whose matches always have ref bumps. And I think Jay will come down and will finally pull the trigger and end Roman's reign. I'm convinced that's where they're going. I could be completely wrong. I don't watch it as close as you guys, but that's my guess. So, anyway.
That's fair.
Carry on. Yeah.
Do you guys think they're doing Theory and Cena? Oracle, you think that's the path we're going on here?
It seems that way still to me, especially with the U.S. Open Challenge gimmick.
Yeah.
I'm still going with Theory Cena.
Yeah, I just don't know who else he'd face at this point, just because he beat kind of all the
Switchblade,
mid-card
Jay
guys.
White.
Well, it's kind of what I thought they'd do with Seth, but then they did this other stuff again last
Kenny
night.
Omega.
If Seth freaking Rollins lost to Jay White 1 year after losing to fucking Cody, and that just became his new bit. You know how like King wrestles on all the 0 hour things for AEW? Seth Rollins one is just whoever their newest signing is, he puts them over clean in the middle at WrestleMania.
All right. Do we think they're doing Brock and Bobby again? I know we talked about it a little bit earlier, but like,
I don't know.
okay, Oracle.
I don't know. But since for the sake of the show, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we've got options, and I'm gonna just cut the Brock Bobby thing open, and we're gonna have several matches that are gonna come out of my mouth.
Okay.
We can either have Brock Bobby in a stip match. We can have Brock and Bobby versus Bray and Uncle Howdy in a tag.
Yeah.
We can have Bobby versus Bray, or we can have Brock versus Gunther.
I think the last two are happening. I think Bray is going to attack Bobby and say that he won by DQ.
Fair.
I think that's their actual way against the match.
Okay.
Because Brock wouldn't lose. Brock's not going to put him over clean, right?
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Like Brock's lost 2 of the 3 matches to Bobby. And in the first one, Roman Reigns came out and hit him with a belt. And in the third one, he kicked him in the dick. So if they've decided last week that they want to do Bobby Lashley versus Bray Wyatt, this was their setup, I think. Now, again, I don't know if that's like true. I'm just guessing here, folks. But I think there's a good chance that Bray is going to just attack Bobby because he won by DQ. You know, was my
The
guess.
question is,
Yeah.
if they do Brock Gunther, who wins?
See, that gets tough because
Brock's winning that match with he is.
yeah, but then
I'll
you
be
don't
honest. Go on, Bob.
you don't really need the Intercontinental title in play then. But
Is Brock staying? Like for real?
yeah, I don't know.
See, here's the problem I have. This is like a genuine conflict I have as someone who enjoys Brock Lesnar. I want to. If you say to me Brock versus Gunther, it's like, oh my god, sounds insane. But my concern is that it would not be insane, and it would just be Brock plugging Gunther into the match he has with everyone at this point. You know, that's my concern. It's like
fair.
He's great. I think he's one of the great wrestlers in recent memory, and just one of the most unique kind of stars of recent memory. But I just don't know if he's going to have the kind of match he could have with Gunther, especially if he's leaving the territory and putting him over on the way out. You know, I don't know. You guys are aware of this because we've talked about on air and off. Yeah. I don't think the Triple H Brock Lesnar marriage is a thing that will live for long. I've always felt that.
Yeah.
No.
He needs a lot, both monetarily and creatively, to be happy and satisfied. And I think Triple H is much more likely than Vince to be like, fuck him, you know? Which at this point, let me be clear, I think is understandable because what is left to do?
Yeah.
So I think there's a real chance that he puts Gunther over on the way out in some sort of hilarious fashion. We're like a 2-minute match. So we'll see. I mean, what Don't Have an Act just said is being talked about a lot too, which is the Gunther Sheamus Drew triple threat. So
yeah, that's probably where I'd go with that one. Just because I don't know. I think again, if you do Gunther and Brock, you're not going to have Gunther lose the Intercontinental title before then, and there's no reason for Brock to be wrestling for the Intercontinental title.
But it's you could explain it, right? Prize fighter and all that deal.
You could.
I don't like the idea of. I think Sheamus, Drew, and Gunther would be a great match, but Gunther being in a triple threat match at Mania is kind of brutal to me personally. Yeah,
but he's probably going to main event SummerSlam.
For sure, but I guess
I get it.
Actually, no, I'm wrong. You do a triple threat, and then you probably would have Sheamus pin Drew.
Yeah, and then Gunther and Sheamus keep going for the next couple B pay-per-views, and then move them to Cody, or he just gets drafted.
You get moved to Raw, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's actually probably what happened now that we've talked it through. What that means for Brock, I have no fucking clue, to be clear. But
I guess Lashley still.
Yeah, but then what happens to Bray? They do a segment where Bray's facing the winner. Him just kind of be like, neither of them won. They can't do that. No way.
Okay. If they do this triple threat, which I think they're going to do now. Okay.
Which one?
Gunther, Sheamus, Drew.
Okay, good. I thought you said about the one with Bray.
Is Brock even going to wrestle?
I think he's wrapping up.
You think he's not even going to be at Mania?
I think he's going to wrestle Mania.
I think he'll be. I think it's just going to be Lashley. They're going to do a fight pit or something, or Hell in a Cell.
What does Bray Wyatt do, Bobby?
Maybe he'll face Uncle Howdy.
Maybe.
I don't know. That whole thing Friday was weird. It wasn't just out of nowhere.
It's all weird.
Well, yeah.
Someone said Brock versus Omos.
That'd be good.
It'd be something.
Here for it.
I almost might not leave that ring.
Okay.
Clubs Brock on the back of the head. See what Brock does about it. That'd be interesting.
All right, so we got Roman Cody, Sami against KO and the Usos, the 2 women's title matches, Theory and Cena. Are we going with Gunther and Drew and Sheamus?
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that.
I think so, yeah.
We'll do Brock and Bobby, and we will actually do Bray and Uncle Howdy, for better or worse. I think that's probably what they'll do. They'll probably do a deal where Uncle Howdy attacks Bray at some point because they're different people.
Fair. So that
what are we at now, Bobby? How many matches?
That is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because we got Theory and Cena too.
We need at least 7 more.
Yeah.
Edge and Finn.
Finn. That's probably Hell in a Cell. That was rumored for, I think, Royal Rumble, and then they.
Shout out to Trey and Alex in the chat who says, sorry if I missed it. Make Oracle talk about Seth Rollins and John Gargano wrestling last night.
Yeah.
Hell of a time.
Not who I would have started with, but
I mean, I've seen better grappling when I tried to give Contrarian Alex a collar and elbow lockup.
Did you run the razor, bro?
Well,
You didn't roll him up, did you?
with how much
Very
force Alex is putting into that collar and elbow, I thought he'd pull the razor and.
I told you, bro.
cut
He's
me right there.
stiff.
Yeah,
He's stiff. He's from that world class mold. It's a fucking shoot down in Texas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough business, man.
It is.
Okay. So I think Dominic and Ray. I like mask versus hair. I think that's very good.
Yep.
Seth Rollins against Logan Paul, so that puts us at 9.
Did you do Finn and Edge?
Oh yeah, Finn and Edge. That's 10.
Yep. That's 10.
Okay. I don't know if they're gonna do one more Bayley and Becky match. It kind of seems like it.
They're gonna do the Trish thing.
Yeah, that
6. Yep. The trio.
do that.
Yeah, they're gonna do Damage Control versus Becky, Trish, and Lita.
What I imagine they're gonna do is they're gonna get the tag belts off of Kota and EO, so that could be another match because that will probably be Ronda and Shayna versus Tegan and Liv.
Yeah, fair.
Something like that.
That's fair.
They'll probably do.
So you think you think Dakota and EO will work both nights?
No, I think Trish will cost them the tag belts.
Okay,
on TV. On TV.
Okay.
And then I think they'll do a fatal 4-way, which will be Liv and Tegan, Ronda and Shayna, Raquel and Shotzi, Mia and Candice.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, something like that. The women that they want to be on the show.
Nikki will have to be involved because remember Nikki Cross doing that thing with Candice already.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
it'll be Nikki and Candice.
Well,
I'm
does
not
anyone
saying
know
it's
she's
good.
doing? Does anyone know she's doing that, or is it just saying she's doing it pop herself?
Well.
I think she might be shooting, brother. Is it a thing on the genuinely? Is it a thing on TV?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
started addressing it last week or the week before.
Good for Nick. Yeah. Tegan isn't on the show anymore. I apologize. Well, in that case, who's Liv teaming up with then? Cole Anderson.
Yeah.
Wait, what did they? Well, yeah, Tegan. Well, Tegan was in the Rumble and
Yeah, she hasn't wrestled in a while. I don't know if she's hurt or what. Yeah. Well, Liv
maybe Liv can team with all caps, Bobby.
There you go. Bring it back.
Run it back.
Liv has been teaming with Raquel though, so they probably put those two together.
Oh yeah.
Who knows these tag teams? They just throw them together.
I thought
right?
Raquel was with Shotzi.
She was, but then she put her with.
Are they just all friends?
Yeah, they're all friends.
It's like the Dangerous Alliance. They're all partners.
Someone said Ruby Riott.
Well, she's got choices to make, brother.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else we got. We need like 6 more matches.
The Andre.
We haven't got Cole on the card yet, Bobby. You figured it out, mate. You got to get him fucking. What we got lined up? Braun Strowman versus the Machine Gun.
How many is that, Bobby? 11.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's Braun doing?
Braun Strowman.
Is he working Ricochet?
I don't know if he might just be in the Andre again, or it feels like you got to give him an actual match though, because the Andre is usually on SmackDown now.
I hope they don't turn him on Ricochet. I actually like them as a team.
That's a good team. That match with the Usos was great.
He's good, man. I'm sorry.
He is.
Braun Strowman is good, bro. This was a thing that became a debate because of how fucking bad their creative was. But for a big man, he's pretty capable.
Mm-hmm.
Good fundamentals, throws a nice punch. He's a fun wrestler.
Let me look at my notes app and I had my Mania card predictions.
Here we go, folks.
Yeah,
we shared a text or two about this, right, Oracle?
Yeah.
Karrion Kross, you got to get on the card, I suppose. He's facing Ray again this week.
You don't have to.
So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're at 11.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're gonna have to get 14 probably, right?
At least, yeah.
Okay, what's Solo doing? Good question.
Oh, that is a good question. Solo
and Braun.
That's actually beast, yeah.
That'd be fun.
Johnny Gargano's doing something.
Yeah.
He's doing Wrestling Cole Anderson on the.
You say no, Ciampa might not be back by then, but there's only one set of tag titles anyway. So, well, there's not, but it's hard because they're taking out. If Theory's facing Cena, they don't have a big multi-person mid-card match.
Someone said Cross and Santos. Now that doesn't sound that appealing, but they did have the segment where it seemed they turned Santos face with the Ray thing.
Yeah.
And now they're going to have Santos and Cross as
It's-
Ray kind of goes back to Dom.
I don't care if there's 2 nights WrestleMania, 3 nights, 4 nights. I don't care if there's 25 nights WrestleMania. There ain't no excuse to have Karrion Kross out there working a one-on-one match in front of that stadium.
Hey.
You're not wrong, but
There ain't no need for it, bro. No need. Just not a thing that we need in our lives, you know? Solo and Braun is actually
Miz should wrestle Giannis.
the cinnamon toast crunch thing. I think is New Day. I think is the prediction, right? Is the guess?
yeah. I don't know.
New Day versus who's a heel kind of tandem
Hit
shtick?
Row.
Well, hold on, Alpha Academy.
Yeah, there you go.
Alpha Academy, that works. I know that's cross brand, but it's a match for fucking
these little scattered undercard matches. You know, we got a solid 11 there. I got no clue with the other extra
Let's be
stuff.
fair though. That's what matters most, right? That's the bulk of the card. I mean,
right.
The other stuff you're going to put in between the things that are supposed to be good. Some of the things we named even are a little bit of a stretch, right? I think Solo and Braun was pretty strong.
I like that one.
And I think the idea of Solo beating him after like a 6-minute bomb fest would actually be really cool for his WrestleMania debut. I like that a lot.
We still don't have anything for Brock.
We're doing Brock and Bobby, remember?
Oh, that's right. We did. Sorry.
We're doing Bray and Uncle Howdy.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
But again, we'll update this every week and see where we're at. And I think having 11 with 6 weeks to go is good.
Yeah, that's it. I agree.
That's pretty good. That is pretty good.
A couple of years ago, they had the belt on Miz at this point. Remember that? And Bobby won it from him in like March. Remember that deal?
Yep.
That road to Mania was a mess. That was an incredible time.
Well, last year's was too, because they had the Rumble and then the Chamber, and Lashley was hurt. And
remember they had Bianca and Sasha as tag partners. Will they coexist?
It got really bad for a while there, man.
It did.
And again, I don't watch as close as you guys do, but I'm not oblivious to the fact that it's got a lot better. I'm aware.
Mm-hmm.
I notice, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, good shit.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, we set up our Mania card. Normally, we'll have a couple more segments to go through, but the pay-per-view reviews, we should leave about the pay-per-view. So I don't know that we have too much more to cover here,
but we think Gunther's going to face Sheamus and Drew in a triple threat.
Yeah.
I think the Brock thing is still in play, but that's the guess.
I think so.
Our guess is that Sheamus will probably pin Drew in the triple threat, and Gunther will then move to Raw in the draft the week after. Will be my guess.
Mm-hmm.
It is worth noting, Bob, you just mentioned in passing, but we had a big team meeting last week, right?
We did.
We had our yellow legal pads out, sweating bullets, thinking about what's next for Fed Dead. And some of those segments are going to be pretty fun. Thursday. Some pretty quirky ideas and some cool things to kind of keep the show fresh. And
next week we're gonna be rolling those suckers out.
Absolutely. There you go, folks. I look forward to. All right, Bobby. Anything else, mate? Or are you ready to take us home?
No, I think we're done. As long as you guys don't have anything else you want to discuss about the past week, but there's nothing really announced for Raw yet, except Edge in Theory, which we talked about a little bit. It'll be a cool match because they're in Canada, I guess. But yeah, that's it.
Where are they? Ottawa?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Randall, the Orton thing is a kind of an emerging story. Trick Williams versus Ilya Dragunov, I'll watch that match.
Has there been anything else about Randy except the boots, or?
No, just kind of the general perception he's going to give it a go.
I hope so.
I'd imagine it'd be as a part-timer, right? But
I mean, they're in St. Louis next month for Raw, so
that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Quick couple plugs on my end. Wrestle Purist Worldwide tomorrow, 6:15 Eastern on the Wrestle Purist platform. I do not need to watch Dana vs. Wendy Chu. Don't lie to me. I'll play for her. Tuesday, the Jason and Joe show. Wednesday, Dynamite Grinalong's back. Thursday, the flagship. So on and so forth. The usual schedule back this week, folks. That's my plugs. Oracle, you got any, mate?
February 28th, Green Grappler, Paul White.
Yep.
Fight up.
March 7th, Historical Oracle.
Oh, yeah. Real
August
graps.
96. Unless we can't do Grin Grappler, then we'll do that on March 14th because Grin Grappler. But I'm confident we'll do Grin Grappler next Tuesday. Not this Tuesday, but Tuesday the 28th.
Yeah.
Other than that, no. Join us on the flagship every Thursday. Join us on all of our extracurricular fun events and shows that we have. Other than that, we're on the road to WrestleMania, 6 weeks.
Fired up, brother.
Fired up.
Good stuff.
Bobby, take us home, Chief.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, and we'll be back later this week for all the stuff that we just mentioned. But in the meantime, enjoy this outro if I can find it here.
I got it.
Oh, there we go. I got it. We're good.
Good.
Yeah, everybody.